Welcome to our weekly energy forecast and meditation. Sabina.
I'm Juna.
And we're from Synergy in Motion, where it's all about empowering you to live true to you. And this week, we continue to dive into relationships and dynamic in relationships. And we also have an announcement about relationships.
So, for the last few weeks, we've been on the road together in tight spaces in our Airstream, and tight spaces make some people want to run away once they get home, right? The opposite with us. We decided after 18 years of being together,
Spontaneously
to get married.
Woohoo!
Hey. So we're really excited, and yeah, we want to share our love with our family and friends. And, it occurred to us, we just haven't sort of declared it openly and, had the blessings of our community around us. So yeah, we're so excited. We wanted to share that with you today. And it's funny because it's in this week is the Hexagram 6, and it's all about conflict and contention.
And peace.
And peace. And Gene Keys from Richard Rudd is another something that we follow and are inspired by. He has a beautiful 3-part series of how this works. You go from conflict to peace through diplomacy, right? And yeah, we all can experience conflict in relationships. It's just how it is. There's you and there's the other person, and there's such differences. And even in our relationship, we're such different individuals, and we're very powerful and very strong-willed when it comes to wedding planning, when it comes to wanting what we want. And then it's about how do we, not butt heads and go into conflict. I mean, we do, like sometimes we do, but then we go, okay, we really immediately step back and go, okay, what's the bigger picture? Why do we want to have this marriage celebration? Why are we doing this? And let's get back to the basics. And we'll sit there with each other, and I'll listen to Sabina, she'll listen to me, and we will come up with a new creative solution of how to be with such different seemingly opposing ideas at the beginning. So this is the energy of this week. It's about conflict. And, it's also back to school. You might be experiencing, if you're a parent with your kids or a teacher and the kids, you might be experiencing different conflicts. So just look into your own life, and Sabina will take us into a meditation shortly and see what these conflicts are. And we even have inner conflicts within ourselves, like all the different parts of ourselves can be in conflict. And the best way that we found is to slow down, stop the process, stop the spewing, the nattering, and just be present to what is. And, when it comes to your own individual self, being in conflict with different aspects of yourself is just, you can see them as parts, and you can just look at them and listen to them and just have compassion for all those different parts of yourself. Mm-hmm. And as we do in our relationship, bringing love and compassion to understanding what the other person is saying, why is something important to them. And then eventually through that diplomacy, we can come to peace. And that's really what it's about. And, there's an old saying, a cliche that says peace begins with me, and it's so true. We want peace and harmony in the world. We want wars to cease, and we must cease the war within and the conflicts within. And also the other thing, the positive spin on this, it's not about eliminating conflict, because there's a beautiful aspect to conflict, and that is growth through friction. Growth through meeting the other and scrapping it out sometimes, and really like really committing to understanding. And it can feel very conflictual, right? So, but through that, there's a process of growth that comes, and you can't force it. It kind of rides a wave, and you kind of finally come to an understanding and a piece of something, a piece about something.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I really noticed also in these 18 years of being together with a partner who is as stubborn as I am, very different, and willing to move through that and grow with the conflict. what I notice in that moment of conflict, when I find that peace actually within me already, so the shadow and the gift and the CD are all present at the same time, I can almost look into another world and then just without judgment seeing, okay, that works for her. How does that work in my world? Either it does or it doesn't. And often it really expands my world in ways that I never would have expanded my world before, because it is different. It enriches my world. Or sometimes I just say it doesn't work for me. And often it also doesn't work for you. And then we come up with something completely different that neither of us have considered before. So there's a real richness in the conflict that if you would dare, like what we talked about in the last 2-3 weeks, to meet that conflict, to meet the challenge without judgment, without making you wrong and then expecting you to change according to someone else, or expecting someone else to change according to you. If you dive into that, there's an incredible richness and gift that can bring forth peace and more possibilities. I definitely have experienced that in our relationship. And yeah, it's truly a gift, I find. Yeah.
So this week, just pay attention to, those relationships in your life where you feel conflict, and just take a couple giant steps back, become the witness of the conflict, and really
find the peace.
And listen to them, listen to you. And it's not necessarily about compromise or giving up any part of yourself, but it's just being willing to be open and be willing to change if you need to, but also holding true to what is true for you. And then sometimes it's just, if both of you are really in that space of holding what's true for you and what's true for them, and they just never can meet, then maybe it's time to just go, okay, we need a break. We need to part ways for a while, or forever, whatever. Whatever.
Actually, when you were talking, I was just thinking, my challenge, I don't know about you, but my challenge sometimes is that I think I know what's true for me because I'm habitual. And often when I actually really listen to my heart and that calmness, that just the rightness, that when the energy actually flows, that often is different from what my mind thinks is right. So that's a little bit of a tricky thing, because your mind can be very convincing that that's true for you and you should, and the other person should too, and that's right. But listen again, look again, feel again, check in again, and see, is that actually correct? Does it give you that feeling of true to you? Or is it just your mind chattering away, trying to convince you to maintain the past instead of really discovering new possibilities?
Well said. Yeah, so it can be a rich week ahead. And I mean, we've already been in it a couple of days. And just let us know how it is for you. You can always comment and share the video with someone else, like, subscribe. We love that on our YouTube channel. We would love to grow our channel. And that is up to you if you want to share and like and so on, and share it with your friends. So that would be great.
Beautiful.
Thank you for watching so far. And now we have a meditation.
So just come home to yourself, take a moment, get comfortable, take a deep, deep breath. Wherever you are, whatever sounds surround you, let them be part of your moment. Let them contribute to you. While your breath deepens and becomes longer. And allow your body to be held and nurtured by the earth. While with your being you come home to yourself, that sacred space of you. And in that space, open yourself up to your power of loving and caring. The space of no judgment, of allowance and strength. And in that space, connect with the diversity of life, all the different expressions of life, light and dark, joyful and sad, up and down. Just perceive all the different ways of expressing life in this world. And all the creations in between. Allow yourself, with your uniqueness, to be part of this expression in your way. Be the difference that you are. And perceive how, with you giving yourself permission to be your difference, also perceive your allowance for the other differences. Just expand your loving and your world, including all those different ways. And if you can, include that which inspires you, which makes you joyful, and that which is challenging for you, that asks you to expand, to maybe change something. Really perceiving those true qualities of that which just nurtures you and contributes to you, and the energies that are a little twitchy and rub you and ask you to grow, become more of you. That might require you to stand up for yourself, to change your ways, to say yes or no to something that you never thought you would say yes or no to. Just be part of this big picture, the dance of life, nurturing and growing, expressing the diversity of life. And in that space of embracing the diversity of life, Connect with something where you experience a conflict, or with whom you experience conflict. And that can be an inner conflict or an outer conflict. Just perceive that energy of conflict in your world. And just allow yourself to be with that for a moment, in that space of letting it be, not having to do anything about it, but being present with it. And it doesn't mean that you agree with it or align with it. It doesn't mean that you have to succumb to it or make it succumb to you. It just be present. Be with no judgment. As much as you can. And let go of all the expectations that you might have. Expectations on yourself to do something about it, to fix it, to solve it, to do anything else but be with it. And also release the other from those expectations that they should and could, or why don't they, or if only. Just for this moment, let that go. Let them be present too, in their unique way, just like you are present in your unique way of being you. And let those two energies just be present with each other. Let them meet. And in that meeting of two different ways, allow something new to unfold. And then take a moment to be grateful for the other, for their unique ways. Bringing forth more of your unique ways. Be grateful for the challenge. And let it go. And return home to you, to that sacred space with your own diversity. All those parts of you that flow with each other or in conflict with each other, but all of which makes up you, who you are. And just allow that peace to unfold, being present with no judgment. Embracing your own diversity. Being at peace and in peace with your own diversity. And together, let's expand this energy of being at peace with conflict and diversity. And together, let's love the world, embrace the world in its diversity, in our diversity. Let's love the world to peace. Not having to change anything, but being able to change that which we can actually change from that place of peace, from that space of allowing conflict to bring forth something different. And then also perceive how the world embraces you in your diversity, loves you into peace with your own inner conflicts. Allow yourself to be held by the world. And with being present with this energy of peace, return to your sacred space, you in this beautiful world, this beautiful, diverse world. And in the next week, allow yourself to return to this space, particularly when you have this mental chatter trying to create conflicts in your mind. Just be present with it. Don't do anything about it. It's like, okay, thank you for sharing. Interesting or not so interesting. and just love it, allow peace to unfold, and then know what actually is required in the situation from that space of loving, not from the space of right or wrong. And always add our loving into your world, because it's big. Yeah.
That's big. And more.
Yes. So really let yourself be loved. Love as much as you can, every day a little bit more. And let's create peace. That might look very different than the image of peace that we all have, but it will certainly be diverse. That I'm pretty sure of.
So thank you for joining us this week. The last 3 weeks, we've been through some pretty hefty, shadowy aspects in relationship: confusion, oppression, conflict. And we just have one caveat with all of this. If you are experiencing, conflict and oppression and confusion that is making you feel unsafe, unwell, not allowing you to love yourself and be who you are, you need to get help for that. You need to leave the relationship, possibly. It's never okay when someone is purposely trying to hurt you, or so
it's just an unhealthy dynamic,
Yeah.
and in your
So so everything that we've said in our forecast, in our meditations, is for relationships where people are committed to one degree or another to working together to understand each other. And when it's not, and when someone is against you and you feel
it's not safe.
it's not safe for you, get out, get to a safe space. That's really, really important. So
Yes.
just wanted to add that little caveat to this relationship series, and we're continuing on for another 8 or 9 weeks in this series about relationships, bonding, duality, seeing the difference in the other and embracing it. Like, how do we do this dance of you and the other? So again, thank you, and celebrate with us in our wedding coming up.
In the meantime, know that we love you lots.
Bye for now.